No, don't you start it off.
All right, go.
All right, new days, new stream of thought. And on episode number 64, we start off by I'm back from Florida, and it was warm. It's wonderful. Now I'm back in the 10-degree weather, and it's not so wonderful.
But what is wonderful is the little treasure that I found at my house. This much needed commodity that just fell in my lap, and I was so happy about it.
And, well, I may be envious of that. I'm more envious of his trip to the chiropractor and just how awesome apparently he felt
Getting
afterwards.
my neck cracked, my back cracked, getting my back adjusted.
And then Victor has some uncensored thoughts on the most recent State of the Union.
The first 5 minutes of the State of the Union.
Which, as somebody who's apolitical, is kind of worth listening to. And we transition, we shoot the shit a little bit. We spit politics back and forth. I mean, Victor's really not too informed, so I do most of the talking.
Yeah, Rick does most of the talking. He's my source of news.
I try to be objective, so that's, whether or not I succeed.
Yeah. And then we do a little stint on advertising and whether or not you possess things that are truly necessities, in addition to what is the fine line in between upgrading. Shoes, cell phones.
Are we slaves to marketing?
Yeah. But anyway, that being said, episode number 64. Holy cow, 64. We hope you enjoy. I can tell that this trip to Florida has reinvigorated your spirit.
Yes, it's been a rejuvenating experience, to say the least. Hopefully it's sustainable. I don't know if this winter is going to just suck the life out of me right away, but
you can run on some Florida warmth for at least a couple months.
I know, dude.
When the weather gets better.
I mean, it was just so crazy getting off the plane from Chicago into Florida and just feeling the warmth surround you. Yeah. It just soaked into my bones. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize how cold I was back in Chicago until I felt the warmth of Florida, of 70-degree weather, getting off the plane. It just absorbed into my body. And it was a totally different thing.
I remember when I came back to Chicago from somewhere that was warm, and I caught a draft that had come in through a gate that I was walking by. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, oh, it's so freaking cold right now.
Yeah. I have to say, I was half considering, like, what if I just get a job down here and just stick around for a couple of weeks, get a part-time job.
Nice.
There were a couple of moments when I was actually considering just staying down in Florida. We'll do remote podcast kind of thing. But yeah, I still feel warm. My bones still feel warm.
That's
but
good.
God, dude, Chicago, it's just been so cold for so long. I think
you hung out with Grandma.
Yep.
You told me a little bit about what you did in the car.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna really go too much into that.
So it was just overall good. It was trip to be somewhere warm, hang out with Grandma, and come back.
Yeah,
sounds pretty nice. So you're never gonna believe what happened while you were gone. This is, I mean.
We haven't really been gone.
We've had that's right.
Two awesome episodes.
Yeah, those last episodes with Ron and the Mike and Greg.
So it's like
those episodes were
well worth.
What Florida trip?
Yeah, exactly. All right, go on.
So you know how I've been using this mouse, right?
Oh yeah,
and everything, and it's been phenomenal. And I told you how I was looking to get a mouse online, and it's like an Apple mouse wireless, like $80. I'm like, hell no. So I was trying to get something for $20. I'm like, at my house, I'm like searching through these drawers for like a coupon, and what do I find? An Apple wireless mouse.
Where did that come from?
In my house.
Where? Like, did someone just...
Like, I guess at one point my mom...
That stuff just doesn't appear.
I guess at some point my mom had bought it, or my dad bought it for my mom to use for her laptop, but she, like, she never, like, really needed it. It's, like, brand new, and it was taken out. You could tell, like, it was taken out of the plastic box, but I was like, no way! I felt like I hit the jackpot. Like I won the lottery.
Oh yeah,
An
you can't
Apple
get any
wireless mouse for free for me that no one's using, and it's full. It's a fully not charged battery, but the mouse batteries, the batteries that came with the mouse, are completely full. So it's I don't know when they got it or what, but.
So have you been using it? Have you been
hell
making
yeah,
good
I've been
use of
using
it?
it, dude, and it's been amazing.
Now that your dog doesn't
it's been
catch
awesome. It's been
your damn mouse cord.
so great. I was thinking about bringing it here, if I was like, no, I've just one more thing for me to keep track of. I'm not going to. But dude, oh man, it's amazing.
Game changer.
It is a game changer. It's a game changer.
I'm so glad that you made the transition to the 20th century with a mouse. Now we need to get you wireless. We need to show you what the experience of wireless is, and you can be in the 21st century.
I think about that when I see people at the gym, and anytime I'm just touching the headphones. Oh, by the way,
it's the thing of beauty.
I went ahead and I just pulled the trigger on just grabbing the new headphones. From wherever it was where I found them.
You're stored.
Oh, these were another Apple product that I just found at my house, which was great.
Man.
And the sound quality is so much better in these headphones than the old ones. And I'm just very happy with it.
Save the old ones, though. Save the old ones until they die.
Have the old ones. Speaking of the old ones...
Duct tape them.
Speaking of the old ones, you were telling me what to do, and I was nodding my head, yes, I'm going to do them. But while I was nodding my head, yes, I knew that was not going to happen because, A, I did not have super glue at my house, and B, I do not have electrical tape.
Okay,
and
I'll give you some electrical tape.
And you're telling me, like, I can fix this for you? I was like, okay, no, I got it. But in my head, I knew, I was like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to fix it.
I know. It's a simple
thing. I just... Game Changer really sums up that experience finding that mouse. I was doing some work on GarageBand for this track that I had these two tracks that I need to splice together, and it was so much fun because it's kind of a pain in the ass having to line up the audios. But man, that mouse is a miracle worker.
Okay, so is it just me, or should it just be common sense that someone have a mouse? Like, I'm shocked that it took you this long to understand the beauty of it. Or is it just like a Mac thing? Or I don't know. I don't really know. For me, I've always used on a laptop. I always use a mouse.
A laptop, I've never. It's just.
It's so much more convenient.
It's almost like the purpose of the laptop is so you don't have to deal with a mouse or anything else. Like, it's supposed to be compact, and mobile.
Yeah.
So you don't think to use a mouse.
Yeah, but for the compactness, you also give up ease of use, right? Like, it becomes harder to use for the trade-off of being smaller and more compact. So, I mean, a mouse doesn't take up much space, really. The thing that you don't want is the huge the hardware, right? That's the most important thing to get rid of. You still should have a mouse, right? Yeah. Like, that doesn't take up any space. Same with external hard drive. You should always have an external hard drive hooked up to your...
two of them.
And have it hooked up to your computer.
Oh, really?
Run off it. Like, 2 gig one. Yeah, absolutely. That way you never have to worry about if your computer gives out for whatever reason, all your information is already on your external hard drive.
It's like a terabyte.
And for the really important files, you can always duplicate it, but it gives you that accessibility too, where say whatever, like you need something even more compact than a laptop, something to put in your pocket.
So you can
transport your computer anywhere.
So you can then have your so you can run it through your hard drive. That way anything you save, it automatically saves on your computer at the same time that
programs,
it saves on
documents,
what?
Yeah.
I am totally down for you to show me how to do that. And Tor still.
I got to figure out Tor. Maybe we can explore that together.
Okay.
But an external, that's another one of those game changer things for me, is getting an external hard drive, and mine is pretty massive. I think it's half a terabyte. So I think it's 500 gigabytes of data, and I use approximately 50% of it. So like I have a ton, but most of it is Adobe Premiere Pro.
Yeah,
because those files, the video files, take up so much effing space. So I try to compact those, and there's ways to optimize it. But dude, you can run programs off of it. You can whatever, and like you can take it anywhere. You can detach it from your computer, hook it into any other computer, and your external hard drive is right there, all your files and programs. So anyway, that was a little rant. But,
wow.
And the Apple Watch, or Fitbit.
Oh, what I was going to tell you was
Oh yeah, sleep
My
cycle.
mom got a Fitbit.
Oh really?
She's like, maybe you can help me figure it out. And I was like, yeah, totally. My mom got one, so actually I can't help her figure it out. I don't have a watch.
It's tough. It takes some hands on.
But she's gonna depend on me to like show her how to do it. So I guess I'll figure it out. I've gone twice so far, and I'm gonna be going regularly to the chiropractor. Dude, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Are you seeing Shannon?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Shannon Boyd. Yeah, where is she located? We'll give her a shout out.
In Wheaton on Roosevelt and President. And dude, it's so crazy lying there. And like, I'll be either lying down or sitting up, and like the weight of my head will be in her hands, and she'll be moving my head around, and then she'll be doing like this, like kind of moving it around, and then this, and then boom, and then it's just like a huge crack in the neck, and then go the other
so
way.
Good. Oh my
Dude,
goodness.
it's the best. It's so great.
I'm so envious here.
When I went last time, she put these little sticker, like these nodes, these little stickers with wires, and she put them on my back, and so it's got like electricity going through it. It just kind of pulsates and kind of just like massage. It's so weird. It feels like a back massage. But these little like nodes that stick on your back, and it's been good so far. But I'm just pumped to like continue going because
holy cow,
that's something like it's not just like you go once or twice. It's like a process. You know what I'm saying?
Is that getting covered through your insurance?
Yeah, covered through my insurance.
Oh my god, dude.
I don't know though. I am pretty sure that you have to pay like a deductible. But she hasn't made me pay any deductible.
Okay.
So, I mean, she has my insurance information.
Yeah.
I started going again because I was like, hey, I completely forgot last time I saw you, I didn't have insurance. She was just like, hey, you should come by sometime. And I've had health insurance now, again, I was eligible again for my employer, and I just never thought to go. And I'm going, and now it's awesome.
Wow, that sounds nice.
Going back on Tuesdays. I think Tuesday is going to be a regular day. And then in her...
Do you like feel like just taller and like, I don't know.
You definitely feel...
At one with your body.
You definitely feel more mobility and just more liberated. Mm-hmm. Like she even does stuff stretching your neck muscles. Like she'll push down on my shoulder here.
Yeah.
Right? And then I do this a few times, or I'll do like this. I don't realize it, but it's easier for me. I think she could tell, like, is it tighter on your right? And I was like, well, now that you mention that, I think so. Because when I'm turning my head left, turning it right, she can see, because she's standing behind me, like, if I can go farther one way or the other. But dude, it's awesome. Wow. Gosh, I fucking love going there. So pumped to go back again and again.
So have you been using the sleep cycle at all, or have you foregone?
I have, and it's interesting because I was looking at it and I thought to myself, I really do not snore. I've only snored that one time.
Really?
In the 28 days of data that I have now.
Oh my goodness!
This, right?
Yeah.
And then I saw snoring, and I was like, "What? No way!" I click on the button. I hear the snoring. It's my dog. I'm like, I recognize that snoring.
Yeah.
Because it was like snoring for 10 minutes. I'm like, no way. I don't think so. Mm-mm. And so now I'm skeptical when I see it came up again. Yeah. And I was like, I know that's not me.
Yeah.
I know that's got to be my dog. It's got to be my dog. I didn't listen to it, but I know for sure it's got to be.
Oh, that's so anticlimactic.
But it's funny to see the different graphs. Like sometimes, like it's like super static, like all crazy.
Yeah.
And other times it's like more like slopish.
Do you notice your general attitude when you wake up kind of reflects?
Your speaking
patterns?
of attitude, have you gone into the settings? You can. So what I started doing when you wake up, right? It'll prompt. You can set it where it prompts you. How do you feel when you wake up? Mm-hmm. And it's like happy, upset, content.
Yeah.
I do that. And I take my pulse.
Yeah, you can do that with your 4S?
My 5.
Or your 5?
My 5 regular.
Oh my goodness.
I
was wondering about that.
Yeah.
I was trying that too.
Yeah.
And like I get it on my arm, but it's also interesting to see it's accurate. It's reflective of what my heart rate is.
I also tried out the
That's
setting
nuts.
where you can have
It's just the flashlight that takes your pulse.
I don't know how it fucking
Literally,
does it,
the camera and the flashlight take your pulse.
I don't know how it does it.
I mean, that is phenomenal. Well, I'm assuming that the flash lights up your blood so that, and then the camera records the pulse with that like super bright light. That's why it has to be pressed as closely as it does.
But the thing is, there's no pulse in your fingertip. Which is why when you check someone's pulse, if they're dead or not, you use your fingertips, you don't use your thumb.
I don't know. Maybe they've they obviously had to have developed something to get it as accurate as it is, because it's accurate. It matches my Fitbit.
I don't know,
perfectly.
Dude. I don't know. Science.
Isn't it mind blowing how crazy technology is available to just all of us now?
I don't know.
Just the camera on your phone, on a 5-year-old phone.
I don't know. I don't even know.
Anyway.
But yeah, I've been enjoying it.
Have you changed your sleep patterns at all, or like adjusted?
I haven't looked at them really, but I do have sleep notes, so I keep track of like what days I open, have a mid shift, I close, days that I work out, days that I took a nap in the middle of the day. I'm gonna add when I start. I mean, if I another one that I thought would be good to add is like when you're out of town or not sleeping in your own house would be a good one to add on there.
Oh, you can customize it?
You can add it so it's like sleep notes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you can customize it. Yeah.
Okay, because I just had the list of 5, and I didn't realize that you could customize it.
You can customize it. I don't even remember what the original 5 are.
Very cool. Yeah.
So that's pretty neat. But I've not yet gotten a chance to look at the data.
Yeah, it's worth taking a look back. You know, maybe after a month of information, just to be like, oh, you know, patterns.
So, what did you watch the whole State of the Union address?
Oh my God, dude, I did.
Wow.
And the Democratic responses.
That must have been extremely painful for you.
Did you?
No, I watched. Listen, you want to know how much I watched?
Tell me.
I watched about 5 minutes before I changed the channel and got bored. I swear.
Yeah.
I was watching it as people were coming in. I was like, "Fuck it, okay." Go to another channel, come back later, and then I see Paul Ryan introduce President Trump, and I'm watching for literally 5 minutes. I watched to the point where he mentions the congressman who got shot and came back to work, and after that, I was like, I can't fucking do this anymore. And dude, how many? Okay, I don't know if this is just. I don't recall ever seeing a State of the Union address with Obama, or unless I watched part of it halfway through, or maybe it's
every year.
Maybe it's just different. But dude, how many fucking times do they need to clap?
After about every other sentence.
Why?
Because it's tradition.
That's fucking stupid, and it's a huge waste of time.
It's a partisan thing.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. And I don't know if, seriously, are we really going to do this? Are we really going to stand and clap every 2 minutes? After every statement that holds no weight. Every statement, the first 5 minutes I'm watching this, holds zero weight. It's just this blanketed, vague statement to rally everyone up, and it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. Are people actually listening? I was like, I can't. That's why I only watched 5 minutes. I'm like, fuck this.
I love your response because you are so apolitical that this is just like a common sense thing. I love just hearing like, yes, no, I think that is the damn right appropriate response that we should. I don't know. I don't know. I love your response because you don't care about politics and you acknowledge from an objective perspective just how fucking stupid stuff like that is. Yeah, I love that. It's a very cogent sense of realism. You're very direct, very concise. Yeah, I think objectively, you just summed up, like remove political leanings and stuff like that. You just summed up what an apolitical person thinks about something like that. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I totally agree. Now, I totally agree with that. It's fascinating because I wanted to get your thoughts on this. So, our country has what, about 350 million, right?
I think some
give or take. I don't know. We're well over 300. So, 45 million Americans tuned in to watch the State of the Union. So that's approximately, what, 12%?
Yeah.
Maybe 14%?
Yeah, something like that.
14% of the country. Like, I don't know. Like, what are your thoughts on that? That seems like a pretty low number. 14%?
Well, how many people in the country do not own a TV?
It's low. It's like 12%. So most of the country owns a TV.
How many people in the country
more people are
do not care to spend their time hearing what President Trump has to say?
Very few these days. Very few consider themselves totally divorced from the political, like anyone who's on like social media. Like that's basically all social media has become, for the past since Trump, won the election.
Okay.
So everyone has just sort of like been sucked into this void of politics.
Yeah.
Where it's like people have lost friends because of fucking politics. Everyone just, anyone who politically disagrees or posts something political,
people have lost friends because of their
unfriend.
inability to cope with others who have a difference of opinion than them.
I totally agree. I don't think that political leanings should at all impact one's relationship with another person.
Right.
Like, that's really not what life is about, right? And so it's interesting because I think that people put way too much stock in politics when they sort of put politics aside. Like, trust me, as a political science major and somebody who fucking loves politics, who listens to all the goddamn politics podcasts out there.
I was thinking when the camera's around and like people are walking in and they're like, oh, there's so and so, there's so and so. I'm like, I don't know who any of these people are.
Oh yeah.
And I thought to myself, Rix knows. I bet Rix is sitting there like, oh my gosh, oh, so-and-so's here. And oh, there's that person. And there's that person. And, like, you watching the State of the Union, seeing all these people walking in, I feel like is me watching the Academy Awards and recognizing, like, every single person in the audience.
Yeah, absolutely. It's my Academy Awards.
And I was sitting there, I was like, this is his thing.
This is
his thing.
Absolutely.
I was like, I don't know who this person is, but I'm sure Rix knows their like whole background.
I knew the woman who they focused on, Nancy Pelosi. I'm sure you know who that is.
Yeah.
Chuck Schumer, the guy from New York.
I don't know who these guys are.
Yeah. So anyway,
but the other thing I noticed when I was watching this, when they do the wide shot, I'm like, and people are standing and clapping. I'm like, this room is filled with a bunch of old white dudes. Yeah. This is so boring.
Yes.
This is a bunch of old white dudes.
Except for that little segment of black Congress people who had the traditional, I think, African robes on.
Oh, those are called, I can't remember. I remember what they're called.
Okay.
I can't remember what they're called. I was saying.
There's a name for it, but
yeah.
Yeah, they were distinct.
Dashiki, or what is it called? Fuck, now I want to know what. Now I want to remember what it is.
Yeah.
Dashiki, I think, is what it is, right?
Okay.
Or something like that.
I honestly don't know. But yeah.
But I saw. They were like, and these people are wearing all black for the Time's Up movement. And I thought to myself, how many of these old ass white motherfuckers in here are sweating a little bit more? That they are being watched. They got to be careful. All their 30, 40, 50 years in Congress and all their money and all their backdoor favors, nobody is safe.
Well,
nobody is safe.
No, that is true. When it comes to sexual harassment, that's pretty much been a no-go in Congress. That is the one issue I think that has taken hold in a bipartisan nature, more or less, aside from Trump.
They're coming for you.
Aside from Trump, which I think is a whole different story because, for whatever reason, but lower levels, Congress people, Republican or Democrat, if you are accused of sexual harassment, your time is actually up. Like you are going to be leaving Congress ASAP. Like there is zero tolerance. I mean, Republicans are a little more lenient when it comes to that. I think they're allowing a couple other people to like go out there, but they did force a couple out immediately. So
how do you think things? When I was watching,
it's crazy how many of them are.
When I was watching this, I thought to myself, I wonder how much would get done, or I wonder how things would be done differently if Congress was filled with a bunch of competent individuals who are between the ages of, say, 20 and 40, like, just have a whole slew of way younger people rather than a bunch of old farts.
Yeah.
Who I get the vibe are just like, maybe they do shit, maybe they don't, but they're rather just like clinging to their seat rather than really caring or making a lot of effort to. I don't know how this works.
No, it's
you know
it's weird. Yeah, no, I know.
Younger people are more
exactly
energetic and are more like, we can do this.
Yeah.
You know?
I know exactly what you're saying. I think for me it's that politics has no longer become a civil service. It's become a career occupation, one where power is the aspirational, chain that you get to. So people go into politics not looking to serve, but looking to make their way up the food ladder.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I mean, we'd like a revolution in that, but there are very few, genuinely noble and honest Congress people anymore who... I mean, it's tough. It's tough to find. I feel like Joe Biden was probably the last genuinely human politician. A guy who was able to talk to anybody. He saw the good in everybody.
Yeah.
He never disparaged others. He always tried to lift people up. I think he's the last of them. I don't see anyone else in there doing that. Unconditional love.
I'm afraid to ask this question, but because I don't recall this at all. The State of the Union address with Obama, were those the same, just boring ass clapping every 2 minutes, or did his speeches actually have a bit of character and weight to it?
They had a little more substance in the sense that Obama used the State of the Union to put out specific policy proposals. So if he had a goal or a vision of what he wanted to see, I mean, Obamacare was probably the biggest one. He used the State of the Union to launch Obamacare. Yeah, no, he had a purpose. For him, it was always to try and do something, whether it was to unify the country, whether it was to push a particular idea or ideal of what we hope to be. Making the statement, I want to close Guantanamo Bay in the State of the Union. Put that at the top of... If you mention in the State of the Union, it means that is what your presidency is going to try and be about.
Right.
And so, Obama's greatest failure is not closing Guantanamo Bay because he stated that in the State of the Union pretty much every single year that he was going to close Guantanamo Bay the coming year, and nothing ever came of it. So, ultimately, history will note that he failed to close Guantanamo Bay.
So, doing that... Was that something that didn't happen because it was out of his... He did as much as he could and it was out of his control? Or could he have easily just been
That's a whole nother issue
in
regards
happened?
to... I mean, that's a whole, separate can of worms that we don't even want to get into. I mean, there's... The history of Guantanamo is just
I remember when we were in high school and it broke out that they were harassing all the inmates.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Remember those photos? They would make them stand naked with shit over their head and do human centipede and all this other, maybe not that, but elephant walk holding each other's dicks and everything, just fucked up stuff.
Yeah, no, it has been a stain on the military community for the longest time. I mean, its reputation is, second to worst. You can't get more depraved than Guantanamo. But that's an issue where a lot of it was, I think, there was a lot of... One part was the politics, the political face of the issue, which had to do with... You had conservatives saying, well, what's the alternative? Because Obama's alternative, after you close Gitmo, you bring them onto the mainland. So they're on American soil. And so the political issue is, do you want these terrorists on American soil, or do you want them contained on this little island, kind of away from the mainland? And they're dangerous, they're the worst of the worst, that's the argument, right? And so it's hard to get beyond that. The military also, there was pushback, and Obama, when he and the military came into conflict, the military generally prevailed, and that was an instance in Guantanamo where the military, I think, had the ultimate say in whether or not they ultimately wanted Guantanamo, and they said, it's better we keep it open. Like, there's no good alternative in this, but we should keep it open. They ultimately prevailed in that argument as well. So you had the politics of it, and then you had the internal pushback as well. And ultimately, it was just something that was never feasibly able to be accomplished. And it'll be interesting when Obama publishes his memoir. I'm sure that he's going to address that. Exactly what went down and specifically why he was not able to accomplish that. I'm sure there's going to be a much more detailed reason. But right now it's sort of shrouded in this politics. Liberals don't really want to talk about it because they don't want to talk about Obama's failure.
Yeah.
And conservatives don't want to talk about it because it's fine the way it is. They don't want to draw attention to it. They just want to keep it there. But Trump did mention in the State of the Union, we're going to keep Guantanamo open. So he's made it clear he's reversed Obama's policy.
Yeah, so what's the summary of, because I only watched 5 minutes.
Summary is lie, semi-truth, lie.
I read
lie. Say the Union is strong.
I read on the, where did I read this? I can't remember. I saw today that they said after like all the fact checking that he had made a false claim on an average every 4.5 minutes or something like that.
That's about right. Yeah, that's pretty consistent. It was just crazy. I mean, just watching it, the words for somebody, and the crazy part for me is that somebody who is not following politics, say you for example, well, I mean, even you have a sense of common sense of like knowing what bullshit is and being able to say, I'm not going to watch bullshit. Yeah. But for somebody who's sort of politically neutral and is just tuning in because that's all any station is playing is the State of the Union, for somebody who had no conception of just how horrible of a liar Trump is, they'll watch that and say, oh, that's interesting. It sounds like, he's the best thing since sliced bread, and that's what his supporters end up hearing. Yeah. Like, that's the only person they listen to. So I don't know. It's just, even my grandmother, while I was down in Florida, she was like, I can't listen to this, and she just got up and walked out of the room. Like,
really?
It's just, I think her first comment was, I've never seen a president applaud for himself so much. That was the first thing she said, like 5 minutes in, because after every other sentence, everyone applauded, and he clapped for himself as well to tell everyone when to clap. Basically, it was the most absurd thing I've ever seen. It was a reality show. It was like what a reality show in Congress would look like. Mm-hmm. Like, he has made it happen. It was comical. It was a parody of itself. Every single State of the Union prior to this has had some sort of dignity about it. Like, just a very solemn, somber time to truly try and address the nation as a whole. Not speaking to your party, speaking to the nation as a whole to try and bridge every single president.
So what does the...
Since Calvin Coolidge, back in the day, he was a Fiji. That's the only reason why he sticks out in my head as a president. And every single president has tried to bring the country together. Donald Trump just didn't. He just all over the place, just shitting a Republican talking.
What was the Democrat response? Democratic response.
It was Joe Kennedy of the Kennedy fame.
Okay.
The guy who had excess lip gloss on his face.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. That's all the fucking internet was talking about after he'd given his speech. To be fair.
He did have excess lip gloss?
To be fair, even I...
It's cold in D.C. They have chapped lips out there.
He wasn't in D.C. He was in Massachusetts. He was in an auto factory plant. But anyway...
Oh, they filmed it from a separate place?
Oh, yeah, no, they never get...
The Democratic response?
Only the president gets to speak to Congress. The Democratic response has to be elsewhere.
So who are they who's their audience?
It's televised nationally.
Is it televised to Congress as well?
No. Congress is gone. They're They rarely watch the response themselves.
I thought it was a thing where like someone from the Democratic Party stands up and goes back and okay.
No, it always takes place afterwards, and it's always from a separate location, and that's typically smaller and more intimate. Yeah, from the opposite party. The Democratic Party gets to choose who will be their spokesperson in response to the president.
I was not aware of that.
The history goes back. It's kind of a long and weird history. Why we do it the way we do it now is just so stupid and silly. Like, there's no fucking reason that we should have an immediate Democrat or an immediate opposition or party response. But it used to be that, like, the president would give his address to Congress, and then days later, Democrats would give a response of their own from their party, like in response to what the president had to say in the State of the Union. And now, basically, because of the media cycle and all that, well, this took place like 40, 50 years ago, where it takes place immediately afterwards, like since the advent of television, basically. So, yeah.
So lip gloss boy, what did he have to say?
Oh my God. To be fair, I think it's ridiculous that that's all that the internet was talking about afterwards. Absolutely absurd, because the points that he gave were, I think, very salient to the moment. I think they really reflected public sentiment, and a lot of I think the frustration that average people feel about politics. Like, why is politics always in the news in this negative light all the time? Like, why is Donald Trump, doing all this stupid shit? Like, why are we hearing about this day after day after day? Like, we're not happy with the state of politics. Like, this is not what we want politics. Like, we never talked about Obama on a daily basis. Do you ever remember talking about that? Now it's never. All Trump all the time, and it's never positive. And, it's this sort of absurd, he spoke to the desperation for hope that we sort of feel right now. In basically saying, like, bullies, don't end up winning. Yeah. And I think a lot of people... I
remember that was an excerpt that was on Jerry News that I saw.
Fuck Curly?
Yeah. I did go a whole... and it was really easy, going a whole week without Instagram.
Oh, you did?
I did do that. And congratulations. It was super easy. Like, whatever.
Yeah. But I think that... So, here's the... Okay, so I never actually got to... Yeah. I did notice he looked like it was just shiny. You wished somebody would just like rub it out. It was kind of distracting. And I wasn't thinking it at the time, but I'm like, it's something... And then after it came out, it's like, yeah, of course. That's the only thing.
When you were watching it, you couldn't quite put your finger on it, and then you saw the internet memes, or you knew there something, his lips looked a little shiny, and then later you saw internet memes.
I think I noticed something was off, but I didn't actually put it to the lips. Like, I wasn't thinking that, I wasn't focused that closely on, I was more interested in what he had to say, right? Okay. So my attention was focused on the words as opposed to the image, but something about the image was off. I was like, something's not like it was in the back of my mind. It was never articulated in a specific way. And then afterwards, the first article that popped up on my newsfeed was conservatives claim Kennedy drooling at response. And I'm like, oh, fuck, that's what it was. Too much lip gloss. Yeah. Okay. Yep. I'm not surprised. That's, of course, that would be the thing that everyone wanted to talk about. Because I thought he had, a very... Now I can't watch the speech, by the way. I can't rewatch it without just focusing on the drool. But the first time I was listening to it, I actually listened to the words, and I thought it was a very nice thing. But now it's the thing of, don't think of an elephant. What are you thinking of? The fucking elephant. Don't think of the drool. What are you thinking of? I'm thinking of the drool. Oh, it's horrible. This is what politics has done to us. The thing is, I'm kind of worried right now because we are actually. I think this is the time we're just staying apprised of what's going on. And I'm not talking about reading news from more politically charged news organizations, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. Those are politically charged, and I don't think that reading those headlines are healthy for anyone. I think they just create anxiety, fear, rage, that sort of thing. I think more objective, I would say like Washington Post, New York Times tend to be a little more informative in their assessment of what's going on, whatever their headlines are. They tend to have pretty
neutral standpoint.
Yeah, in just they don't induce an intense emotional response. Okay. It's more like, this is what is occurring. And my recommendation would be don't listen to social media. Don't don't intake any other information from other sources other than just what you read yourself. Because if you see it through your own eyes and not through the lens of your political commentator, then you will be an informed voter and have a pretty objective perspective on what's going on. But as soon as you insert those like political biases, whether it from friends or from news sources, then your overall information is tainted. Like, I don't think you have as accurate of a sense of, because I think that they do a good job of pointing out both sides. Like these news organizations, these old-timey news organizations, have a pretty high standard for when it comes to having a fair and comprehensive assessment of it, which means they talk to both sides.
Still adhere to the principles of what it means to have freedom
journalistic
of press.
Integrity.
Just like the mailmen, through rain or snow or shine or whatever, just like there's a creed that they abide to.
Certainly.
And there's nothing that's going to get in between them and upholding that creed.
It's called journalistic integrity. Yeah, absolutely. It's like a doctor's creed, right?
Yeah.
It's I think they do take their responsibility very seriously, and they will make sure they get the fullest picture possible of a particular story. Of course, they will point out if someone is telling a factual inaccuracy, but generally speaking, perspectives, they allow to people to just give their perspective if they are giving it truthfully, and do so in a very full light. Like, you are able to see all sides of the issue and make up your own mind with as much accurate and concise information as possible. It's remarkable that, and I think that's why newspaper sales are going sky high. But then you have all of these news organizations that take those headlines and put them through the political grinder. And after that, it's like you're only getting part of the facts. They're like this. I mean, think about it. There's this full comprehensive picture, right, of what a story is. If you read it, you will understand the issue fully, all sides, and make up your own mind. If it goes through Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, you are only getting snippets. They're picking out highlights. And those highlights are induced to create, whatever emotion they want their viewers to feel. And so you're only getting part of the story, and so you become a less informed voter because you're focusing only on parts as opposed to the full and what things you find important. But yeah,
I didn't know CNN was also.
They want views. They're not. I don't. People like to call them liberal. I think that's absurd and asinine. They're not liberal. They're sensationalist. They're TMZ for politics.
Okay.
They don't have a political leaning, and I fucking hate it.
At what point did that happen? Because I thought CNN was supposed to be like the most
trusted name in news.
Yes.
They were created for one event and one event only. Do you know what that event is?
What year were they created?
2001.
CNN?
It is when they took off. They were created for an event in 2001.
September 11th?
Exactly. That is the only time that a 24-hour, 7-day news channel is needed for a world-changing event. If we were to have nuclear war, like, that would be a 9/11. Like, a world-changing event. That is what a 24/7 news aside from that, there's...
Wait, they became 24-hour news in 2001?
No, they were always. Like, they had existed... a couple of years prior to that. I think 1999. I'm not too clear on that.
Oh, okay, but then finally, so they had existed, but then finally you have this event where this news channel was already doing the things that a news channel should do to cover this type of event, and everyone else like played catch up in terms of like, how do we do this? What's the best way to present this information?
Yes.
What do we need to do? Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, but aside from that, like, it's just it is not meant for that. And unfortunately, like politics, the news business, as opposed to being the just trying to report things, right? Mm-hmm. It's about generating revenue, because there are so many media outlets, they're all competing for the same pie, which hasn't really expanded too much, and now there's more and more people taking chunks out of that pie. So you want the most eyes. How do you get the most eyes?
Make shit up.
Human psychology. You pull on people's emotions. When you make people feel something, you get an investment, and you get return and growth and all that. So you're trying to capture an audience. And so now it's become a marketing thing as opposed to a news thing.
Wow.
It's all manipulating the human psyche for the ad revenue. It all comes down to the ad revenue.
Speaking of revenue and growth, I believe Facebook reported, I should say, I think it was like 12 or 13 billion dollars in profit for the fourth quarter.
Yeah. However, they were down like interaction time from people. Okay. A bit. And that's worried investors since that came out. They were just talking about that. I had read an article that, yeah, apparently people are turning off Facebook a little bit more. Not significantly, but enough that it's not growing, right? And so investors are like, did you reach your peak? In which case, has the company reached its threshold as well? Have you gotten sort of the maximum outcome? Or can you go higher? And now it's going down. So, I think that's kind of... Facebook isn't too concerned, because Mark Zuckerberg is weird, dude. Like, his thing is his response to the decline in minutes of interaction from quarter 3 to quarter 4 was what we were intending all along. We don't want people to be online as more, so we're prioritizing stories so they have to search less. Yes. And so for him, it's all about the optimization of Facebook and saying, you don't need to be wasting time on Facebook. Like, we want to just make it the most efficient, effective thing. Like, look at it and you get what you need, and you don't need to spend any more time than possible. So, I don't know. You got that. But on the other hand, that wouldn't make ad people happy, because that's less time for them potential to come across your ads, which is such an antiquated view, by the way. I was just thinking about this, that advertisements, like, how many people are influenced by advertisements?
Everybody. How many times do you think, how often do you feel that you don't have enough?
Never.
So
I'm weird though.
Right?
I maybe. But
so like,
I feel content with what I have.
It's all about making you believe that what you have isn't good enough and that you need more.
Yeah. But for me, I don't know. I'm not affected by that. Like, I don't buy into that.
I don't either.
Yeah, and I'm wondering how many people buy into that. I don't know. Like, you don't buy into that. I don't really buy it. Like, we're content, but do you think a lot of people buy into that?
Yeah, all the people that went out and got the fucking iPhone X when it came out.
Yeah, that's kind of bullshit.
$1,000.
That's kind of bullshit. That's kind of culty.
That's weird. I really enjoy. It gives me satisfaction using something until its function can no longer be utilized. For example, these shoes. Look at these shoes. I've had these shoes for 6.5 years now. You can start to see it's tearing here. Look at on the sides of my Sperry's, there's holes on the side, but it's not on the bottom, so it's still okay. I would like to buy a new pair maybe for the spring or summer, but they still serve a purpose of protecting my feet when I'm walking around. My phone, I was just thinking, my mom the other day was like, do you need to buy a new phone? I was like, I can still go with my 5. I mean, it lags and it's kind of like sometimes the apps shut down automatically, randomly, you know. But it still makes phone calls and sends text messages. You know what I'm saying? It's still good. I love just like utilizing everything.
God, we are such hobos. I mean, these are my nice shoes. My running shoes, which I only wear to run, but so they don't have as much wear. But you've seen my blue ones that are just.
But there is a fine line
that are near
where
that.
You need to just step up and get something new. Like there was this frying pan that I always use at my house, and the handle's loose, and you kind of have to like it's kind of fucked up. And then it was like a joke, but also like serious. My mom got me a new Calphalon skillet. Wow, dude, that is another game changer. Wow, dude, it makes cooking so much easier.
Yes.
Oh man, I just love using that thing. Yeah. And again, with the headphones,
I wouldn't even think
I had
about
busted
that.
headphones. They weren't kind of where it was like you could still be using, but I just happen to have this new pair. Just use it, and wow, much better.
And I think there is a balance between certain things can sort of wear and tear, but there are certain things that can truly make your life more convenient.
Yes.
Like a new pair of shoes aren't going to make my life more convenient. They might look nicer, but these feel the same as a new pair of shoes, right?
Yes.
Even if it has a hole or two in it, my feet don't know the difference.
Yeah.
Like it's aesthetic, but I don't really care about aesthetics. People aren't going to be looking at my shoes all the time. But there are things like wireless headphones, a smartphone, a Fitbit watch. Just little things that can genuinely change your behavior in a way that really improve your life. For somebody who sort of wants to keep track of like what they do during the day.
Yeah.
And, how they spend their time and energy and efficiency in just getting around. Little things like not having your headphones pull out of your phone anymore. Like, it's huge. Like, being able to leave your phone here and walk across the room.
Like a small one-time investment goes
a long way. Little things like that. And they don't have to be, like, super nice either. I think, I don't know how much my sister paid for these. They were a gift, but, like, it's affordable, right?
Yeah,
and it can make a substantial change in your life. So.
For sure.
Technology, I love it. But what?
No, you go.
Oh, I was gonna say just before we leave politics, just stay informed because we're in a very scary place right now, and I don't know what's gonna happen. Like shit's gonna get weird in the next couple of weeks. I have a feeling. Robert Mueller is nearing his investigation end, probably in the next couple of months.
I saw
Trump is starting to panic. Like,
I saw this
we could
thing
be in a
when
constitutional crisis.
I saw this thing and it says like on this headline when you go on Google, it's got like headlines for the day. On there, it was like it said like if Trump versus the FBI, like he will lose. Like we'll fucking always lose going against the FBI. Is what it said.
Yeah.
And I started to read it, and then I was like, Ricks will just fill me in.
Yeah, no, Trump and Republicans right now are trying to discredit the FBI. Because of the Russia investigation, they're trying to basically end it. And it is not looking good. There looks to be clear collusion and some pretty nasty shit that took place, and Trump could be directly involved. It is looking very possible that it's looking almost positive right now, like he tried to obstruct justice. Mm-hmm. Like he had the intent of ending and like obstructing justice, like which is a crime.
Yeah.
So if anything comes of that, I don't know. Right now, it's become a politics thing, which is so fucking stupid, but really what else is going to happen? But Republicans are defending him to the hilt. Like, they are trying to discredit the FBI so that when Mueller comes out with his findings that, in fact, Trump himself was involved in some pretty bad shit, that they'll say it's all politics and nothing matters. Even though that will have been probably the worst thing to happen since Watergate. I mean, it's about of equal proportion to that, like objectively speaking.
Mm-hmm.
But it's being framed with primarily the news media, I think, is leading the whole conservative media is really making it a politics thing where 30%, 35% of the country now believe that the FBI is a corrupt and politically motivated institution, that they are not neutral arbiters. And it's growing. It's growing from 35 as well. As it seeps out, because conservative media has this brilliant strategy. Jon Stewart of The Daily Show used to do a really good job of pointing out just how effective Fox News and other conservative media sources were in spinning a narrative and then seeping it out into mainstream media. So you'd get the whole conservative sphere on the same talking points, and then they would go out into the rest of the world and say, hey, like, this is equal, and all these other news organizations give them equal response time, so suddenly it becomes, the truth and the counter-narrative, like the alternative reality. And there's truth that's given equal weight to alternative truth. And it's fascinating to watch.
Okay.
And it's only escalated. So it's really... we're in a scary place right now, because as that 35% continues to grow in their distrust of the FBI, especially with this, what's called the Nunez memo that's coming out. I don't know if you've heard of any of that. People will be talking about a memo for the next... But that's meant to continue this narrative that the FBI are untrustworthy and grow that 35 to hopefully they can get it to around 50%. If they can get it to around 50%, they can fire Mueller and end the Russian investigation regardless of Russian interference. Because the goal is to figure out how Russia interfered in our election and to prevent it from happening again. They want to end that so that nothing will happen and Russia will continue to support the Republican Party as they run for re-election.
Right.
So... yeah, it's a politics thing, I guess.
Very interesting.
But, yeah, so just stay informed, Read a newspaper every once in a while.
Newspapers? What are those?
I don't know. Things that you poop on.
I know. All right, well, that concludes this episode of Quite an
episode. Good sign-off. Glad you were thinking while I was away.